Hi YouTube, it's Kathy. YouTube has been recommending a video to me recently called Reading 1000 Books Changed My Brain. I haven't watched it yet, mostly because I've been on the road and my watch later list is about 500 videos long, and partially because I saw somebody in a Discord talking not so favorably about it. I'm not here to dunk on something I haven't even watched, but rather to tell you about the thought process it inspired. If you think I would benefit from watching the video, please let me know down in the comments. At first my reaction was something along the lines of, obviously, if you do anything 1,000 times, it's going to change you. An example of this is how I can't start reading a book until I've documented my intention to do so on a half dozen websites and apps. I didn't used to tell anybody that I was reading anything, and now this is my bizarre, bookish normal, and that's all down to one thing: my participation in BookTube. Prior to 2017, my YouTube channel was more general content. Although I did discuss books from time to time, it was far from the major theme of my content. I discuss things that happen in my life, or answer questions about being an introvert, or attempt to make a video in the style of someone else just for the challenge. I didn't know what I wanted to make when it came to some overall plan, and I made whatever grabbed my attention the most. In January of 2017, I decided to do weekly wrap-ups of everything I was reading. I was following someone else who was doing this format and loved her videos, although she was reading way more than I thought I was capable of. I'd link her channel, but it sadly doesn't exist, so I'll link her Instagram down below because it is a wealth of knowledge. When I decided to start making these weekly wrap-ups, I had this fear that there'd be a week where I wouldn't finish a book and therefore I'd have nothing to say. So to ensure that I wouldn't leave an ugly smudge on this shiny new project, I decided to talk about what I was watching and listening to as well. At the time, I was very into a couple of podcasts and wanted to talk to other people about those too. Once I found out that the library had audiobooks that I could download anywhere on my phone, that was just it for me and podcasts. They were a part of my bookish past. That change is also attributed to BookTube, because diversifying how I can get and consume my books increases the amount of books that I can read, a metric that seems important to building an audience. A funny thing happened though. I haven't gone a single week where I didn't have at least one book to talk about. Not once in the nearly 5 years I've been doing this. It's now normal for me to read at least one book and listen to at least one audiobook every week. Part of this is me, again, not wanting to disappoint on what I had decided was the place for my bookish content. The other part was pure competition. I admired other people in the book community for their ability to talk about a bunch of interesting books, and I figured people would be more likely to care about what I had to say if I could do the same. I don't have any reliable statistics for how much I was reading before I started doing it, in part for an audience, but it was a fraction of what it is now. I then fell in love with readathons. They are like a sporting event for bookworms. There's training in the form of researching which books fit which prompts, strategy in trying to cover the prompts with books that fit your abilities, and then the main event, the readathon itself. I'd prepare people in my life by explaining how my time would become precious during certain weeks because I was doing a readathon, until eventually my best friend operated under the impression that I was always doing a readathon. There were times when she was correct. Sometimes I do more than one at a time. My first readathon, though, I didn't know that I could read 7 novels in a week, so I set out to read 7 graphic novels that week. I achieved my goal and found camaraderie with other readathon participants. Talking about my reading plans for different events brought me closer to other readers. I went from participating in to co-hosting to co-creating readathons and continue all 3 to this day. That's not all that has changed though. I've traveled near and far attending events such as book clubs and BookNet Fest and advocating for bookish content creator panels at VidCon. Somehow I posted my weekly wrap-ups through all of this. There are wrap-ups in various states and provinces, and there's at least one that I recorded and posted from an airport. I've made friends, become aware of new genres, authors, trends, pitfalls in publishing, tropes, and so very much more since I switched to primarily talking about books. I've also wrapped up over more than 1,000 of them on this channel. I had to check my Goodreads stats to confirm, But yes, since I started making weekly wrap-ups, I have talked about more than 1,000 books. There's a link in the description of all of my videos to the playlist where I talk about these books. I've also gained so many skills and a bucket of knowledge in the process of doing BookTube. Video editing, making slides for Instagram, and learning how to create a thread on Twitter to organize all the videos I've put out in a year immediately come to mind, but the content of the books themselves are all crashing around in my head, just waiting for a moment where they can pop into my conscious mind. I'll be mid-conversation and inevitably the phrase, "Oh, I was reading about that in the book the other day," will proceed some anecdote or information drop. That's saying nothing of the fact that there's evidence literally on my skin about my love of books, for example, this tattoo, and the other one on the back of my leg, which I actually did a video about. They say ignorance is bliss, and the amount of Bookternet discourse just proves that. There is so much to be angry about or disappointed by, and so many things from which to learn. There are people out there that have no idea what is happening, and I feel lucky to know half of it, even when it's making me shake my head. It's a whole world of interconnected issues that fly under the radar, much like BookTube is both a small part of YouTube and so vast a chasm that is hard to classify as niche. Saying I talk about books on YouTube sounds unique to some people that have no idea the community exists. Inside the community, you can't stand on that alone. It's also weird that if you want to talk about anything that isn't books, you're suddenly labeled as not a booktuber anymore, as though having interests outside of books negates your love for them. I'm still bitter somebody wouldn't put me on their list of booktubers because I deign to talk about things that aren't books from time to time on my own channel. However, the community as a whole has become way more accepting of creators diversifying than it used to be. So I don't have the brain scans that prove that I'm not the same person that I was 5 years ago, but to me that's a no-brainer. I have more than 1,000 new stories floating around in there. I have new friends and experiences. I have new habits, for better or worse. I've learned thousands of new things and I'm eager to learn more and sincerely hope I can continue to keep burnout at bay. So here's to changing, to growing, to learning, to thinking critically, and to maybe stepping back from habits that don't serve us. And to the next 1,000 books. May your TBR be full, your reading time uninterrupted, and I hope you find somebody to talk to about all of those books. Tell me about something you're reading down in the comments below. If you want to know what I've been reading recently, there will be a link to my most recent weekly wrap-up, as well as the playlist to all of the books I've read since 2017. If you liked this and have a moment to share it with somebody else, that would be greatly appreciated. I'll see you very soon. Bye.